Hey everybody, welcome back to Doc G's Reloading. Today I am going to talk about the Valdada IOR scope. This is a scope that is made in Romania. As you can kind of see there, it says made in Romania. Okay, so this has a sunshade on it as well. I'm going to take this sunshade off just so we can get a better view of what the bare scope looks like. I can't remember if the scope comes with the sunshade or not. Every other scope I've purchased, you have to buy the sunshade separately. I think this one might have come with it, not sure. Anyway, I'll take this off here so we can see this focus ring back here. So, Valdada. So big, I only had one Valdada scope. I bought their flagship model. I think the first thing you're gonna notice on this is the 40 millimeter tube here. So this main tube is 40 millimeters, not your standard 34 to 36. It's 4 millimeters bigger than the largest one made. So you're limited in the rings that you can purchase for this. Now, it does come with the set of these American Rifle Company, as I previously stated, single bolt kind of clamshell design. You got the single bolt up top, you've got a hinge on each side. Again, when you set this on your gun, you got both of the rings open. Set your scope in, bring both of them up, put a little bit of tension on them, get it perfectly level, crimp them down, and you're done. So again, actually purchasing this scope is what exposed me to the American Rifle Company rings, and because of that, I put these rings on every single scope I own. So you're very limited in the companies that make 40 millimeter rings, because this is the only scope on the market that I know of that has a 40 millimeter tube. Everybody else is 34, 36, around there. So that's different. This is a 12 to 52, and it is a second focal plane. So again, as you turn this magnification up, you got a magnification knob right here. You can kind of see this little knob right there, pointed out right there, a little nubbin. So there's a little nubbin there that you can use to make your, kind of give you a zero as to where you're gonna pull it. So anyway, as you change your magnification, the reticle, and I'm gonna put a picture of the reticle in, I'm gonna put it in right here so you guys can see what the reticle looks like. Now when the reticle is illuminated, it's just that center dot that's illuminated. It does have an illuminated reticle. I'll show you that feature on this side. But second focal plane, so as you increase your magnification of the object that you're engaging, the reticle does not change in size. So the nice thing about this is it tells you what the divisions are, and it has a positive click into each. There's 3 settings here on the focus ring. The first one says 0.5 millirad. You can see that one there. And that's at the 14.4 magnification. Then it goes up. As you go up here, it positively clicks in. And then that's your 25 or 26, whatever it is. Yeah, 26. And then as you go all the way up to 52, it says half MOA. So that's what they do with second focal plane. Most second focal plane scopes have divisions that are marked on their magnification ring that will tell you what changes have been made to the reticle as you've increased your magnification. So I know that if I'm at 14.4 right here on this blue one, then I know that the divisions between the reticle is 0.5 millirads. If I go up to 26 magnification, it's 1 MOA, and if I go all the way up to 52, it's a half MOA. So that's, again, it's a nice feature. The thing you're going to notice about this is it is beefy, and it is not light. It's significantly heavy. It's like a Schmidt Bender in the weight category. Now, this one has a ring here, so this is adjustable. Again, it's nice and big, it's easy to adjust, it's all made out of aluminum, and then that allows you to make your adjustment here So you can make your adjustment there. See the little white dot, which is on the right side of the screen there. That white dot on the right side of the screen is what you'll move back and forth, and you've got your 0 plus minus. So you just rotate this around to get your eye in focus to the reticle for whatever prescription your eyes are. And then you just leave it, and then you can put your lens cover over the back of it like that. So that's your standard kind of feature, just like a Schmidt bender. Different than the March. The March has a lock ring that you undo. You rotate the whole eyepiece, and then you pop it back and lock it again. So with that being said, it's very similar. It is heavy, and you have this is where you put your battery for your illumination. This is a plus and a minus. You hit either one of those to turn it on. You can go all the way to plus, go all the way to minus by hitting it multiple times. Press both and hold for a second to shut it off. It does have an auto shut off. And these knobs are gigantic. They are super beefy, which is nice. I will say it is nice. The click on them is an 1/8 MOA, but it's not a super good click. I mean, it hasn't moved in the guns that I've shot, but I could see it moving. When I got this too, I had to take out the bolts here, these little nuts that hold it on, and I had to put some Loctite on them and put them back in because it did loosen up on my 6mm Creedmoor when I had it on there. So if you do that, if you do buy this scope, just make sure that you take out all of the Allen head screws in both turrets and put some Loctite on them, blue Loctite, and put them back in. Then you should be fine. But it's not as positive of a lock as I see with the March and with the Schmidt bender. Schmidt bender, I think, is probably the best as far as positive click, lock, snap. You can actually hear it clicking on a Schmidt bender. Here you can't hear it clicking. And here you can kind of hear that one, but it's still, if you bump it, I could see you easily changing, your elevation or something a little bit. The nice thing is, yep, you could have gloves on and you could manipulate these easily. That's nice. The only thing that's different about this scope is that instead of having your parallax back here, your parallax is up here. So you've got to adjust this to bring your target into focus. And actually, it's more about the parallax is not so much about focusing the object, but it's more about the reticle being steady, so that as you move your scope, the reticle stays solid on the target. I'm not going to get into a discussion on parallax right now. If you want to just look up some reviews on it. Anyway, your parallax adjustment's out here. So it is a little different. So when you're laying on the ground, you got to, instead of using my thumb, like with the March, I can use my thumb on that. There's a gigantic wheel on my March that I can just fine tune. Here I've got to reach out, and your gun's in the way down here. So you've got to just grab and turn up here. So it is not as quick. It's not as easy. It's different. Is it better or not? It's preference, I guess, personal preference. I don't like it out here. I like my parallax here. Would it be a make or break factor for me to purchase this scope? No, it wasn't. But I'll tell you, the light transmission on these is not what I thought it would be. This is, I think, a $3,800 scope, around that, and it comes with rings. So you do get the rings with it. But still, for about $3,800 to $4,000, which is what a March scope costs, with March, it's a standard 36mm tube. So you have a lot of selections if you want scope rings for them. For this one, it's a 40mm tube. Nobody else makes a 40mm tube that I know of. So, I would have thought for a 40mm tube, you'd get a lot better light transmission, and you don't. The March kills this thing. The March is just so much better with light transmission. At the same level of magnification and even higher levels of magnification, it's no competition for the March. The March is just better. And I'll tell you, the Schmidt Bender is better. And Night Force is better. I would not buy another one of these scopes. I would not buy another Valdada. You know, the price of scopes is so expensive, especially for a high-end one, that, you know, I just, like I said, I would not buy another one. But, you know, it's different. It is cool looking. I don't think you want to spend that much money on something just to look cool. People comment about, wow, that's a big main tube on that, because they'll see it's just so much bigger than usual, than you see on usual scopes. But, you know, this has a little turret, a little nubbin on the turret here, so you can set 2 different elevations if you want. So you could be shooting here and then just turn the knob and bring it up to this, you know, kind of set a reference point, and then you say, okay, I need to turn it to here to shoot at that distance. So you could have kind of 2 zeros with it. But if you bump it at all, it moves. So I don't know how useful it is. And again, when your illuminated reticle here, and I'll put that in quotes, is just the center dot. You'll see that from the previous picture I just put up of the reticle. So anyway, it's all aluminum construction. It is a really neat looking scope. You know, if I knew now about purchasing scopes, what I did when I purchased this, I wouldn't have bought it. But I wanted to try them. I wanted to see what they were like, and I still use it. I wouldn't use it in competitions. It has a Christmas tree, as you saw from the picture I put up. It has kind of a Christmas tree reticle to it, but I don't find those very helpful. I just like the standard reticle. I can do holdovers just fine with elevation and windage, or something moving. I can do holdovers just fine with just a regular cross and the hash marks. This has got, like I said, a Christmas tree style. It's a very minimalistic Christmas tree, but it does, you know, serve a purpose. So again, made in Romania, not cheap, comes with rings, fully adjustable, nice big knobs if you have gloves on. I don't like the fact that it's not a super positive click to, you know, to leave it in place. I don't think it would move under a 50 BMG, but I haven't put it on my 50 BMG. I've shot it on a 308 and a 6mm Creedmoor. And then your parallax adjustment is out here. So it's just something different if you want to get used to that. I like having my parallax right here so I can adjust it quickly and easily. Out here, you've got to reach a little bit farther, and you've got to make an adjustment while you're trying not to move anything else, and that can be tough. It is a tight scope, but the glass on it is just nowhere near as good. If you're going to spend $3,800, spend another $200 and buy a March, or buy a Schmidt Bender. You won't be disappointed with either one of those brands. And even Night Force, I'm going to be reviewing Night Force next. Even with Night Force, they do a great job with their glass as well. And Night Force is better. An $1,800 Night Force is better than this Valdada, I'm sorry to say. That's my personal opinion. Some people may love these scopes. I just don't see the light transmission, and the eye relief on this is nowhere near what a March is. The eye relief on this one is much closer, and if you look at the specs, the eye relief on this one is up here. The eye relief on a March would be back here. That's what I love about March scopes, is you've got so much more eye relief that you can shoot any caliber, and you're not going to get bitten by the scope. This one, not only does it have less eye relief to start off with, but when you go higher magnification with this, as you get to 52 magnification, you do have to come in closer, and it is harder. You kind of have to move your eye around a little bit to catch the whole sight picture, and the sight picture is a lot darker. Again, light transmission on this is, the glass on it's just not up to par. So, all right, everyone, thanks for watching Doc G's Reloading. That's my review of the Valdada IOR scope. Next up will be the Night Force scopes. I have a couple of those, and I'll talk about those. Again, thanks again for watching Doc G's Reloading.